It's Princess Sparkle Kitty. Thank you very much.
We didn't just call you Glitter Pants.
Because it's Princess Sparkle Kitty. Because I don't wear glittery pants.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I
also,
do.
Sometimes. Also, hello. We are back.
We are.
Welcome to our argument about who's more sparkly.
I mean, right now, there's some sort of reflection thing flying all over the place, and I kind of want to chase it. Like a cat.
Good, I was gonna say, good kitty.
My son and I started watching Soul yesterday.
Isn't it phenomenal?
It's such a great movie, and I love the part where he's the cat and there's like the reflection and he starts chasing after it, and I was like, that
yeah,
fantastic.
such a great movie. And you know what else? We watched We Can Be Heroes, which is a kids movie, right? And it has like Shark Boy and Lava Girl's daughter and etc. in it. Oh my god. Like, there were no children around when we watched it. I was just like, hey, can we watch something like fun and silly? And of course, he never tells me no. When I ask for something reasonable. Like, if I asked for something really out of line, I'm sure he'd say no. But he would. He's not, he's wonderful. He's not simple-minded. You know? Like, he's a good guy. He's not a dumb guy.
Anyway, arguing about robot cats.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really, really good. Really good. Like, it was just silly fun. Like, there's a thing that you expect happens as far as the villain goes, but then it's not what you think, and the ending made me mad. Well, just, it wasn't like a sad ending. It just made me mad because I was like, really? That's it? That's all you got? This is what we're doing now? But it was cute. Like, it was a little heavy-handed in its message because it's definitely a message movie, but it was fun.
My sister and I were on the phone for like 20 minutes, and she was telling me about the new Wonder Woman movie for like 20 minutes before I realized we were even talking about the Wonder Woman movie. And I was like, wait, what movie are we even talking about right now?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but Tara did, and she liked it. So
yeah, I've seen good things, I've seen bad things. I'm like, I mean, I watched the show when I was little because it was there and because, you know, we had one channel. So
I've always been into Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed cool, but I didn't watch the Batman versus Superman where she saves the day. I didn't watch any of the other stuff that she's in. I love Gal Gadot though. I think she's gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
But yeah, I mean,
she looks like she smells nice. Like, she's one of those people that looks like they just smell really good.
She does. She looks like she'd smell like a mix of like vanilla and clean linen.
Yeah. With like lemon or lime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her skin looks really soft. Yeah.
I think maybe that's like your new scent that you need to mix up is called Waiting for Godot.
I have all the things that I could make that. And I actually have another scent that I want to make. And it's going to be... So it's dragon's blood oil with a little bit of cinnamon.
Ooh, fancy.
And then either some patchouli, vetiver, or sandalwood to give it a little woodsy note.
A little kick, yeah.
I think that it's meant for a man, but I think I was gonna say I think it can be kind of unisex, but oof.
Oh, I think I gave you the update. So my husband has said that we will get exactly 1 minute of his time in the near and undisclosed future. So basically, I think it's going to be like we have to catch him, tie him to the chair, and ask him questions that he may or may not answer before he breaks free.
Okay. I will make a list.
Yes, trying to get House on camera is such a pain. Like, especially when he was doing the Road Warrior thing, when he shaved half his head and then the batteries ran out.
I'm really sorry that we didn't get to see all of that.
I tried. I really tried, and he blocked me, and he ran, and he's faster than he looks. I mean, he's like a toddler.
He's top heavy, but he can run.
Yeah, I mean, like he was just like whoosh, and I was like, anybody seeing this from outside the house will see a half-naked linebacker with a half-shaved head, wearing a belt around his chest, underwear, and socks, running through the house screaming.
Being chased by a little pixie.
Yeah, being chased by like 5-foot me going, "Get back here!" I need to take a picture and document this foolishness.
Like you're trying to give a friggin' tiger a bath.
I think the tiger bath would be easier. I feel like tigers would appreciate that. However, my husband does not appreciate, like, he likes the effect of having people laugh, but he does not like the effect of having it documented. Unless, of course, it's singing karaoke at the Knights of Columbus. And
it's sad, too, because he's so sweet. He's such a good guy. I really like Ty.
Yeah, he's got his moments. No, he is an absolute sweetheart most of the time. Sometimes I'm like...
Well, they can't be perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, like, what goes on. But, yeah, he's a math guy. So he's very much a math guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he very much enjoyed singing AC/DC at the Knights of Columbus, which was a sight to behold. At one point, there was a YouTube video. It got taken down because people were swearing and laughing so hard. Yeah.
Nice.
It's it was awful. It was absolutely awful.
I'm sad that I missed it.
Yeah, everybody at the Knights of Columbus is sad that they saw it. So
well, that's an interesting thing that you mentioned, things that people have seen or experienced but they don't talk about, because that doesn't happen a lot in Pennsylvania with regards to like
everything. Yes,
weird stuff. Like everything.
It does, and so that will actually be one of our live feeds in the past, because we're in the future.
Right, but it'll be in the future for us and the past for you.
Right.
Because we're magical like that.
Holographic universe. Boom.
But yeah, we were going to research ley lines.
Yes. And
Pennsylvania
has, from what I can tell, 3 major ley lines going through it. At least 3 major ley lines. I argue there's more because I've found them in my yard. But
well, and then you said that one of them runs through New York as well. So I wonder if it runs where I'm at.
Yes, it runs right out to Montauk.
Oh, does it? You already looked.
I already yes.
Does it go through the North Fork or the South Fork?
It goes right through Camp Hero.
Camp Hero's on the end. That doesn't tell me there's Long Island Forks.
Yes,
like a fish.
It goes to Montauk, and then through New York, and out to Chambersburg.
Okay, and does it pass through the south part of Long Island or the north part of Long Island?
I want to say it goes center.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
That'll be a good research thing to talk about the ley lines and where they are and what they are and all of that.
Yes, because it's an intersecting ley line at Chambersburg that goes from the Toronto Tower to DC to Florida down to like the Bermuda Triangle, and then it comes across from Montauk all the way out to Chambersburg and intersects there.
Right. And as you will already know if you watched our broadcast in the past, that is the future for us.
We're the ghosts of Christmas past from the future.
On New Year's. In the New Year times. Ley lines they go horizontally and vertically through the earth, almost like longitude and latitude lines, but they are not at the longitude and latitude lines necessarily. And they are areas of kind of intense energy, I guess would be the best way to describe it. But it's like a line of intense energy. And for magical practitioners, we have some beliefs around ley lines, and some uses for them. If you'd like to elaborate on that, Susie, since I just kind of monopolized.
Oh no, have at it. They're magnetic
I
energy
like
lines.
I like teaching about that stuff. I'm like the okay, so
Oh no, I totally get it. For the uninitiated, they are basically magnetic energy lines, and they shift.
wait, you got initiated? I didn't get initiated.
I learned the secret handshake. Didn't you get the memo?
There's memos?
There's
No.
memos. There's a
People
newsletter.
I got a crow the other day, but all it did was shit on my car and try to peck out the cat's eye that like wanders around. So yeah,
One
no.
eye. Just one eye.
One,
Just one eye.
I mean, the cat has two eyes, but the crow was only trying to hurt it in one eye.
It's Ode Crow.
Specific. Yeah, the cat must have done something to the crow. Anyway.
Crows don't forget, man.
No, they don't.
Hold grudges.
I'm sorry. Like, the initiated thing, the uninitiated thing, like, it bothers me. But we could talk about that
No,
another time.
I meant it
Which
more.
which initiations we can discuss another time.
I was meaning it more in a figurative sense than a literal sense. There was.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to be funny, and then I realized that other people might not get the joke.
Yeah, there is a very big joke there. There is no initiation.
There is. And we'll talk about that another time in the future. Anyway, so they're magnetic lines.
Yes, magnetic energy lines that go all over the earth. And from what I've seen, they don't just go horizontal and vertical, they go sideways and diagonal and everything else too. And there's hubs, which are energy vortexes. So they connect various places. So, but they also shift. So the ley lines that you might have had from 10 years ago may not be the same ley lines that'll be there. They may have shifted over a little bit or disappeared entirely, depending on how the earth moves or shifts. So there's a lot of energy along fault lines. There's huge amounts of vortexes out in Arizona.
It's because the area, like geologically speaking, the area is shifting a lot with all the plates and stuff out there.
Yeah, and there's
because it's like the continental divide, and there's super volcano under there, and
yeah, it's crazy the amount of vortexes and intersecting ley lines, sacred sites, historical sites. I mean, it's like all right in one area in the middle of Arizona. And I was like, terrible.
Living out west is something else.
I just went to California once, and I was like, okay.
When I've gone back to like I always get like a zing as I get off the plane, and then I have a lot of trouble sleeping while I'm there because I'm so full of energy.
I get that when I go to New York.
And but it's different energy out there because there's not so much interference.
So those are ley lines.
Those are ley lines. We're going to research them.
And so, Pennsylvania, I mean, there's all these ley lines all over the country around Pennsylvania. And then literally on a map of ley lines, there's just Pennsylvania and it's blank. And I'm like, but there's all these other ley lines that should be cutting through it. And why is this just left off the map completely? And so, I mean, it's not like, it's just weird how people outside of Pennsylvania just kind of overlook Pennsylvania entirely. But people that are in Pennsylvania know it's got some weird shit going on, because I mean, we've got the Pennsylvania Stonehenge, which is like in the middle of the state, and nobody really talks about it because it's on private property and the owner does not want people messing around on his property. So there's that. There's also there's also Gettysburg and Chambersburg. There's Philadelphia. There's Pittsburgh. So all the major city areas are also big giant energy vortexes. Plus there's the Poconos, which has a huge energy vortex. And then there's Ringing Rocks, which is also a place, which is another energy vortex.
You guys have a bunch of cryptids out there. People are constantly seeing cryptids.
Pterodactyls, man. We see
Yeah,
pterodactyls.
and like pterodactyls, Bigfoot, like there's some wild stuff being seen out there. There's a lot of haunted places, from what I understand.
There's a lot of haunted, abandoned, and not
Haunted and abandoned.
yeah, both at the same time. I mean, it's a weird state because it's kind of a vacation spot, but then people just up and leave and forget about it. And then you've just got these like leftovers of civilization hanging out in the middle of the woods. And then nature just kind of reclaims it.
What's funny, I remember my first experience with Pennsylvania. Some of you may know, some of you may not. My dad used to be a truck driver when I was younger, and in the summer times, my sister and I, not at the same time, like he'd take me for a few weeks, and then he'd take my sister for a few weeks out on the truck with them. My first encounter with Pennsylvania, sorry, dry mouth, was we had stopped at a rest area, and it was one of those where they sell like the rings and the earrings and stuff. And so I was looking at them, and I was about 14, 15 years old. And the man assumed I was my father's wife, first off. But he was speaking so fast in like that kind of Pennsylvania Dutch, weird, like really dialect kind of Pennsylvanian English. Yeah, it's like the
well, there's a bunch of different dialects depending on where you're at in PA.
Right. And I don't remember, but I do remember he was speaking so fast I couldn't understand him, and I had to ask my dad what he was talking about. And my dad was from Pennsylvania. He was born and raised there. And so he was able to, my dad had been everywhere, like all over the actual world. And so he was really mad. He was like, "That is my daughter." And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I got this, we got these here quartz mines and stuff. And hey, they saw a Bigfoot the other day." And I remember the word Bigfoot because the guy just blew it off. My dad correcting him that I was his daughter and not his wife, like it was nothing. And it was a normal thing to make the mistake of. I was 15 years old. I didn't look older. I've always kind of, well, I think when I was 16 and trying to, I could look older, but I've always kind of looked younger than my actual age.
And it's not uncommon for, grown ass men to date teenagers in Pennsylvania.
Are you serious? Is that true?
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I had adult boyfriends. It didn't even occur to me that was not a thing that should happen. I mean, I didn't sleep with them.
I remember when I was like 16, there was one of my friends that her boyfriend was like 36. And I think about that now. Every so often that crosses my mind, and I'm like, ugh, how was that allowed to happen? How? Like, we went places with this dude. Like, he took us places. We like went to play pool, we went out to eat, like we did stuff, and nobody, but again, it's Utah. Yeah, so they probably thought he was possibly her cousin that was about to marry her. Like, I don't know.
Also happens in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, well, it got at the time this happened, I was working at this restaurant, and the gentleman that did like the pies and desserts and stuff was a FLDS member, and they are the polygamists. So there were still quite a few polygamists in Utah, and this guy had like a bunch of wives and a bunch of kids, all set up like in a 1 block area of of a neighborhood.
Oh, that's wild.
So like that stuff was happening, and the FLDS members, people don't know it, but they do have these girls marrying boys that are their cousins and stuff. It's gross. They'll have like 2 sisters marry the same old dude.
Well, in Pennsylvania,
Allegedly, I'm not defaming anyone. Allegedly. Sorry.
Years ago in Pennsylvania, you used to have to take a blood test to make sure that you weren't marrying a relative.
I remember that because I remember hearing about that because when I got married to my children's father, my mom went with me and with he and I to get our marriage license. And it was in North Carolina. And she's like, y'all don't need a blood test? And we kind of looked at her like, no.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
She's
You
like,
need
oh, in Pennsylvania, you had to have a blood test to get married. Yeah.
yeah, because it was more than just it was more than just cousins, I suspect. Considering the inspiration for an X-Files episode, that one with the inbred family where they kept their mom on like a pallet that rolled under the bed.
Yeah.
That was a real thing. I mean, obviously pushed up a little bit for TV, but that was not that
So
far off.
I'm going to ask a question that might be deemed a little bit offensive, but I'm going to ask it anyway because now I'm curious. Do you think you guys have a lot of cryptid sightings of like humanoid creatures that walk like people and move like people, or sometimes don't move like people, but don't necessarily look human? Do you think that that is possible, that people are seeing like children that were born from incest and maybe have some birth defects or some deformities, like maybe not mental defects, but just some physical deformities? And since they're in the woods, they're mistaking them for these like other creatures.
It could be that.
It was,
It could
I was
be
trying so hard to ask that without
you
being
did
like
good.
gross about it.
You did good. But no, I mean it could be people that have decided to just go off the grid, because Pennsylvania's got a lot of that too, where people just are
Right.
like, I'm done with society, and they go become like mountain people. And
I'm
so they
considering
could
that
be
as a career choice, actually.
they could my dad's one of them, but he's literally living in his mushroom up in the Poconos.
Yeah, I don't want a mushroom though.
Yeah,
I
I don't
want a
want
gingerbread.
to.
I want a gingerbread house.
But yeah, it could just be people living off the grid, throwing on some camo, like walking around, and they're not getting a good view of them because they're camouflaged, and they get
Mhm.
these blurry photos because it's usually in the evening time or the early morning or whatever.
I think though some of it is valid.
Some of
I
it
think
could
some of
be.
the sightings are valid. Like either it's an extra dimensional creature or an extraterrestrial creature. Because I think it's very arrogant to think that we're the only.
Yeah, no. I mean, considering we're seeing pterodactyls in Pennsylvania, I think it's
Mhm.
perfectly feasible that there are creatures from someplace else. And I think also there might be, some stray skinwalkers running around. We've got a lot of undeveloped forest land and a lot of
Mhm.
mountains that do weird stuff.
Right.
So,
Well, and some of it probably is actual stuff that happened. And then some more of it is people are afraid that they might see this stuff. So, of course, then they see this stuff everywhere.
yeah.
And others is maybe kids making it up for attention. But I think that there are some that are valid. Like,
Oh,
I think it's incredibly arrogant to believe that we're the only intelligent life in the multiverse.
absolutely agree. But yeah, I mean, it's a valid question. Like, hey, I mean, like, look at the blue people that they
Yeah.
turned blue. So,
Yeah, it was because of something in their diet
it
and
also,
also
yeah,
inbreeding.
yeah, like,
Yeah, because I'm thinking of people that turn blue from ingesting too much colloidal silver. That's when it has something to do with your diet. Don't do that. It's not medicine. It's a heavy metal and you get poisoning. Please. I know a lot of people are like, oh, take colloidal silver. Don't do that. Please. Don't do that.
yeah,
It's not good for you.
ask your doctor first or something.
Yeah. See a doctor. Get some
Get somebody with
antibiotics.
like chemical training.
Yeah. Like I'm happy to help with stuff that like, oh, I'm not feeling great today. I'm like, hey, there's an oil for that to help increase your mood. And hey, there's something that can help boost you as you're doing what your doctor told you to do, but I can't, like, there's no oil for a freaking broken leg or if your lungs are falling out. Like, I don't got an oil for
On
that.
it. Here's a salt tablet. Go walk it off.
Yeah. Here, look. Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, there's some like weird stuff in Pennsylvania that, you know, Pennsylvanians know about because we're here. Centralia, for example.
Yeah,
Talk about
that's the
weird.
Silent Hill place. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the inspiration for Silent Hill, and it's terrifying. I've been
Is it still burning?
Yes. Yes, it is, because anthracite coal burns for a long ass time.
So, okay, so you've been there.
Yes. I've been to the outskirts. I have not gone into the town.
Okay. I was going to say, because here's something that I wonder, like, as you're walking, I would imagine that all that coal burning makes the ground hot. So do you, like, the soles of your shoes start to melt? Like, why would you go in there? I would be terrified.
When the fire was first burning, yes, that happened. Now that it's kind of gone a little deeper and spread out into the mountain, it's a lot of gas pockets and a lot of smoke. But I mean, it's still very much a poisoned area.
That was my next question. Like, it's gone deeper, it's moved into the mountain. Are there like collapses and like landslides? Like, do holes just open up?
Yeah. I mean, the government evacuated the town for a good reason. There's still people there. I think there's like 4 people left that are still living there. And I'm just like, you know, like we drove on the outskirts of it and the mountain was glowing. You know, like you could see pockets of smoke coming out, and there was like red hot in the darkness.
Good photos?
No, we were driving fast, so as one does in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, yeah, I drove kind of fast, and yeah,
it's
faster than you. I drive fast as it is, but I drove fast when I came to.
There's a lot of straight runs and a lot of back roads, and you know, not a lot of people. So people.
Yeah, and there's areas like we were saying that like I was driving through and it just felt creepy, like for no reason. There was nothing there, and I like when there's nothing there. Like I like big fields of open nothing, and it was broad daylight too, and I would just feel like, get out of here.
I'm
not gonna stop around this area. Like
definite spots like that. And Centralia is not the only place that's burning. There is also a coal mine fire up by Carbondale, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Scranton. Yep. So that is still burning as well. So basically, once a coal mine fire starts, there's no putting it out. I mean, it's in there.
Yeah, so, I would imagine that it would burn until it burns itself out. Like,
which, you know, there's so much coal.
Well, and that's like, you think about it, right? And you're like, well, dirt will put out a fire. But then you have to like take another thought and be like, but these are coal mines. They're not going to hit dirt for a good while.
And not only that, but like, they've tried flooding them. They've tried, you know, I mean, they've literally tried to put them out, and they've tried collapsing mountains on them, and it's just in there. So they're like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, so many people like lost everything because of that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And my friend Mike took pictures when the church was burning from the inside.
Oh my.
So the church, the fire came up under the church, and it was burning inside the church.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so the windows were all broken out and flames are in the church, and he's standing out there taking pictures.
It was like a kid's drawing of a burning building.
It was a church. So it was like if a kid decided like the devil came up through a church.
But you know what I mean? Like with the flames coming out of the windows and
Yeah. It was a lot like that. And, you know, I mean, I don't think, like, yes, you can go there if you really, really are adamant about going there, but I wouldn't, because, you know, it's still burning, 1. 2, the air quality cannot possibly be healthy. You know, 2, and 3, sinkholes are a real thing in Pennsylvania. Where mines collapse.
They're scary.
Yeah. Scranton just had one. not that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
where an entire city block basically got swallowed up by the old mine collapse. So Pennsylvania, a lot of the areas where the coal mines are, there's a lot of sinkholes just kind of waiting to happen, because as the supports rot and deteriorate, you know, the old ones were just wood. So yeah.
So there's that, and then it seems like every episode of, my son had an obsession with the show Finding Bigfoot, and he used to want to be just like Bobo when he grew up. So he would go outside at like 4 and 5 years old and grab like the biggest stick he could find and just whack it on trees, right? But it seemed, I know, it's so cute.
That's awesome.
It seemed like every single person or every single episode, they were somewhere in Pennsylvania looking for Bigfoot. Do you get a lot of Bigfoot hunters? And can you tell when they're Bigfoot hunters? Like, do they stand out from the crowd at all?
I live in South Central PA, not far from Gettysburg. So, you know, try to discern the Bigfoot hunters from the ghost hunters.
Well, that was my next question, is the ghost hunters. I feel like I'm doing an interview like a professional. Next up, TV news.
So I've done one of the extreme ghost hunts in Gettysburg, which was a lot of fun. And my husband did not appreciate it. He doesn't like supernatural anything. And I find that kind of amusing that he married me.
I know, that's like, I was like, what do you guys talk about?
We talk about Star Trek, we talk about music, we talk about, you know.
No, I know, but when I first met you, I was like, how?
Yeah, a lot of people have that same reaction. Like, wait, you guys?
They don't match, but you do match. But anyway.
Yeah, we're kind of the yin and yang.
What was the extreme ghost hunt like? Like, what did you do? Like, go lie in coffins? And
no. We went, so they gave you all the equipment, so K2 meters and all that fun stuff. And we went to the farmhouse on Culp's Hill, which it was a field hospital, if I remember correctly. And it had been used by the National Park Service as housing for one of their rangers at one point, and then they abandoned it. So it had no electricity, no water, no utilities. So it was a perfect ghost hunting spot because it had reports of a lot of paranormal activity.
Right, and if there's EMF, it wouldn't be from the electricity in the walls.
Right,
exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, you know, they had permission to go in there and basically bring groups through. One thing, you know, in my early days of ghost hunting, that I figured out later was cell phones will set off an EMF detector like Christmas.
Yeah.
So you basically have to put your cell phone into airplane mode. So that way it's not picking up any signals and setting off your EMF detector. But I used the dowsing rods. And those guys, fun. Yeah, I have 2 sets actually, and I use them around the yard just to find places to put stuff.
Do you have them close by?
I do. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Because I am always entertained when Susie holds her dowsing rod.
So I've got my little pair, and then I've got my big pair. So I will use the big pair because I find it works better for me.
So you were holding their dowsing rods.
I was holding their dowsing rods.
And she's not doing that.
Yeah, this is...
I've watched her do it in person, and that one's going to whack you here in a minute. Oh, here goes your face.
So, yeah. So I had their dowsing rods, and what they are is they are copper. Or maybe they're brass. But either way, they're some sort of copper.
They're a conductive metal rod. They conduct electricity.
Yes. And so the other pair, I keep getting swatted. The other pair that I have has copper here. And then these ones have plastic. So they've got like some plastic beading, and then they've got...
Right. And see, so hold that up again. So you would think when you're looking at it, oh, well, she's just turning it with her fingers. She can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Those plastic things are on there to make it so that she doesn't turn them with her fingers and they don't get stuck by her fingers.
Yeah. So here we go.
Just Just so you know.
You know. So here we go.
They just want to point at you.
They do. And so that's kind of the funny part. Like when I'm out in the wild, I have to find something stronger than me because the damn things keep pointing at me. So here's the copper ones. These guys actually are harder turning. They don't have as much frictionlessness, and they're a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, because they have to get up a little more oomph.
Well, not only that, but they don't have. I mean, they're tips, but they don't have the stoppers on them.
Oh.
So
yeah.
Here we go. And so that nobody thinks I'm moving it. It's all one solid piece. So here we go, holding it.
Endless entertainment. I could watch for hours. It's better than TV.
It's very frustrating when you're looking for energetic spots, though.
I know, but it's great when you want to watch the Susie show.
There's the Susie show. So
one part of it, anyway.
So I had their dowsing rods, and the stuff that we were looking for in the cult farmhouse was stronger than me, or at least more energetically active than me. And so that actually was the first time I ever had a ghost go through me. It was weird. It was really weird and very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because at one point there's like two people in your meat suit.
It was just really an odd feeling, and I felt nauseous as hell afterwards.
I would have felt very threatened by like why would you do that? Who does that? Don't do that.
Yeah, and
I mean, like
it wasn't rude either. Like it
exactly,
was,
yeah.
Because we were all standing in a group in the kitchen area, and they were showing us how to use everything, and I kept feeling something behind me in like the living room area, and it's an empty house. There's no furniture. There's nothing. And I kept feeling this, and I was just like, like something is in there that's not nice. And it kept getting closer and closer, and it was kind of like checking us out. And then it kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And I opened my mouth to say, there's something here. And it went right through me. And then it went and hit the K2 meters, and it just literally every single one of them lit up as it was moving around the room. And I was just like, oh God, I don't feel good.
Right.
And Ty was like, are you okay? I was like, I think I need to go outside, like for a minute. I don't feel good. I was like, something just went right through me. And he's skeptical because he's Ty. And so the other ghost hunters are kind of like, what would happen? And I was like, something just literally went right through me, and that's a first. So I kept coming back to that kitchen area because that's where I felt like.
That's scary though, because something that can get through the personal defenses of the type that we set up, especially before going somewhere like that, is terrifying.
It was very scary. I don't think it could stay, which is why it went through, but it was still awkward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And after that, I was just kind of like, yeah, no, you.
How long was it in? Did it just like step through? Like,
yeah, it just passed right through.
Just like, hey, look, I can do this. Don't fuck with me, kind of thing.
That was kind of the feeling I got from it was, haha, I can do this. And I was just like,
yikes.
But there was more than one ghost in that place. And what was really funny was we were in this one room, and we were kind of picking up this like weird ambient K2 reading. And so I'm like following it around, and we get up to this room, and we're standing there, and I'm like, go over by the closet. I was like, it feels like there's something there. And my husband's like, no, there's nothing there. And I'm like, no, there's definitely something in this room. And he lets one rip. Just farts loud. And I was just like, dude.
I would have died laughing because can you imagine in the silence and then Ty just rips one?
In the silence of a haunted house, my husband just let it loose.
That's great.
And he's like, well, there. He goes, now. He's like,
now
now
it has to come out.
And I was like, oh my God, you did not just say that. And, you know, his gas is legendary for being just awful. And all of a sudden, the K2 meters lit up.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty funny.
Ty fart satanic energy.
I think the ghosts were so offended that they just were like, stop it.
So here's a thought too, like random thing that just passed through my head. Ghost hunters, right? They make me sad. And I'll tell you why. They go out and they're actively looking for spirits that are stuck on this plane. And if you can find them, you would think you would be able to help them find a way to go where they're supposed to be. But instead,
I think with Gettysburg, it's a different story, though.
Well, I know, but just ghost hunters in general. Instead of helping to find the path to move on, ghost hunters, it seems like, keep them there when they find them, like an animal in a cage, and just like show them off like freaking Carol Baskin on Tiger King. You know what I mean? Like, that makes me sad. That makes me really sad.
With Gettysburg, it's a weird energy.
I know.
You know, it's I don't know if there's anything that could let them move on.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just the crass money grab of it all. Like, you could at least make the attempt, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you could try. Why not try? If everybody tries and everybody's going to try somewhat differently, maybe someone could find a way, but nobody bothers to do so because they're making money off of it. That grosses me out.
Yeah. And
sorry. Didn't mean to bring the mood down, but ew. You know?
Don't twist my mellow candy.
I know, I'm sorry, but like I will like go looking for ghosts, but not to like I don't know. And I know that's not why you were there either.
No, I was there because somebody bought me a birthday present. And I was like, oh, cool. And you know, plus you get to go check out a haunted house that's on a Civil War battlefield.
But I mean, I'll go, like, if it's someone that can do like a history and they do like historical stuff, because I went on a cool tour of London. It wasn't really like a ghost tour, it was just a historical tour, and there happened to be
there's like walking tours in Gettysburg all over the place. The lamplight tours, they bring them up onto the battlefield and all that fun stuff. And then there's one house where they've got like a fun house in the backyard, and so they're always jumping out and scaring people. And I'm just like, really?
I was gonna say I like the fake ghost walks a lot.
This one it brings you through one of the original houses, and then you go out into the backyard and they scare the hell out of you. So I was like, okay. But my friend is neighbors with this scare group, and she hates it because it's constant screaming like it all
out. Yeah, I was gonna say, can you imagine being neighbors with those people? That's awful.
Yeah, and
they can't be zoned
downtown.
So okay, I know I'm officially old now, right? Not only am I sitting here in my cardigan sweater sipping my flavored water, but I'm thinking they can't be zoned for that. Why doesn't the city shut them down?
It's Gettysburg, man. It's all
I'm old.
a tourist attraction.
I am old.
But yeah, I don't know how they have. It's a commercial zoning, so her apartment is in the back of a shop.
So okay.
There's a shop front in the front of the house.
So it's not residential zoning necessarily.
Well, the back of the house is residential. Her house. So
there's
like apartments and everything in it. But then his house next door to her is commercial.
But it's not a neighborhood like yours, is what I'm saying.
No, no. No, in Gettysburg, it's kind of funny because as you're going around town, there's houses that are on the main drag and they look like they would be like shop fronts or something. And then they've got signs saying, you know, private property, no trespassing, because people will literally just go up and try to open your door thinking it's a shop.
Right. And then there's shops that look like houses, so you don't want to go in there, and they've got signs trying to drive you in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy
And
compared there.
it's very strange. And, you know, there's a lot of bed and breakfasts too that are converted old houses. You know, Ty and I stayed at the Brick House Inn, which was gorgeous. And the breakfast, I mean, it was a B&B, and the breakfast was the stuff of guest book writings. And I was just like, wow, like I don't really eat breakfast, so I guess. And then I tried the breakfast and I was like, oh my God, this is the best breakfast I've ever had.
I cooked and took care of a bed and breakfast for a couple one summer. That was fun. They had really nice guests from Sweden or whatever, and I just like took care of the house, went over in the morning, made breakfast for them, and then after they left out for the day, I cleaned up and did their beds and made it like all nice. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I've got company without the expense, you know?
They're paying me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first were looking around for houses and stuff, there's a lot of old houses around here. Go figure. So we had looked at one. The one that I had my eye on like big time was a bed and breakfast, and it was up in the middle of nowhere, and it had a lake, and it had like a couple acres of land to it, and everything was set up to be a bed and breakfast. And I was like, oh my God, that would be so amazing. You know, like have a bed and breakfast, or just like have my friends come live with me. And, you know, obviously Ty was not all about that. And then
we'll win him over.
Another
Don't
one.
worry.
Huh?
We'll win him over. Don't worry.
Well, then this other place that we looked at was an old farmhouse from, I think it was originally built in the 1700s. And it was fieldstone. The whole thing was fieldstone. And it
Is that
had
the one you told me about that had like the oven and the stuff, the summer kitchen?
separate building. Yeah. It had its own separate building for cooking. And that was beautiful, but it had a lot of weird energy going on. And then it was 2 acres, but it was along the road. So it was like 2 acres this way instead of this way. And then it had like this barn, and the barn didn't come with it. I was like, well, really, what's the point of buying this house if it doesn't come with a barn?
Wait, was the barn on the property?
No. It ended like right before then and then stretched down, and then there was like cornfields behind it. So
whose friggin' barn was it? It was just a barn just there?
Well, so another thing Pennsylvania does is splits up properties. So you've got your fields where the crops are, and then you've got the houses where they used to be the old farmhouses. So parts of that are all sectioned off. And so they just broke up the property. So something that would have been like a 200-acre property at one point with a farmhouse and barn and everything else is now cornfields that are being planted, residential that's being lived in and sold off, and then more cornfields and storage in the barns.
Right. Well, I understand that. Like farmers can't necessarily run it, and then they sell a little bit and they sell some to the city, whatever. Like, but usually they don't just leave a fucking barn hanging out in the middle of nowhere for no reason.
Nowhere. It was like right up against the street, and they stored all their equipment in it.
Did they have a house by their barn?
No.
Okay, then.
The house was
statement stands.
Yes, the house was
could have been
initially part of that package.
Yeah.
At some point in the past, when it got split up, that house became its own separate package.
And they like.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm baffled by this.
It's weird. I was like, I want the barn too, and they
were like the barn should go with the house. That's like.
Yeah.
They're all together right? Here. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in PA. There's New Hope, which is fantastic. I love New Hope. I
was like, that's a great movie.
No, New Hope, Pennsylvania is like right on the border of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bridge. So it's actually one of the only areas that you can get out of New Jersey for free. Otherwise, you got to pay.
Good to know.
Yes.
Also, isn't part of Pennsylvania in that Bridgewater Triangle thing, like in that weird New Jersey triangle where all the
I feel like it
really weirdness happens?
Yes, because the New Jersey Devil was sighted in Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah.
And let me think. So there was Jersey Devil, there was a pterodactyl, Bigfoot sightings. There's also
aliens.
Well, aliens. Oh my god, yeah. Don't get me started on the aliens. Or well, hell, we're in it now.
We can do another one on aliens. We can do a separate alien one.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. There's Fae. So, I mean, there's just
yeah, we got to talk about the Fae on another episode too.
Yeah, that's an entire
not this one, but another episode. Yeah. They get their own. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Pennsylvania's got a lot of mountains with a lot of caves that are largely unexplored. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of weird stuff. There's weird lights in the woods and all that kind of stuff. Ghost trains, ghost towns, ghost houses.
Wow.
I have an eyelash in my eye.
That's inconvenient.
It is, especially when you've got eyelashes as big as mine.
Yeah.
It's like getting jabbed in the eye with a toothpick.
I was gonna say it's like getting a sword in there anytime I get
pretty much.
eyelash. Mine aren't as long as yours, but
talk about the aliens.
It's a warning. It's the only warning you're gonna get.
It's a warning. But yeah, so I mean, there's lots of cool stuff to talk about for Pennsylvania as far as weirdness goes. In fact, one of the back roads of going between Bloomsburg and Danville in central PA has a small lineup of cabooses, like old cabooses, and they're kind of falling down, like they're starting to rot. And it's on a back road. So if you don't know about it, you're not finding these things. And they have mannequins set up.
That's amazing.
But it's not plastic mannequins. It's like handmade mannequins.
Wow.
They're sculpted and they are terrifying. And so there's like some of them inside the cabooses looking out.
We have to go there. I want to see it. I want photos.
It's terrifying.
Good.
Yeah.
All the more reason I want to go.
There's like one that's hanging out on the back porch part of the caboose, like with the overhang and everything. And he's like sitting in a chair up there.
This is art. I need to see it.
It's terrifying.
Sometimes art is scary.
Another weird thing with Pennsylvania that I have not noticed anywhere else is animals, like horses. And
they exist in the other states.
Yes. Okay, good. Because they have like their own little overhang shed thing over them. And they look like somebody just took like an entire horse and plastered it and then painted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. I see a lot of them here. Like a lot.
We have one on top. It's in Southampton of all places. There's a horse just like standing on the roof of one of the buildings as you're going into like one of the swankiest towns in New York. It's great. And there's a guy that actually makes sculptures, like metal sculptures or wooden sculptures that you can put in your yard, and they're like big ones. There's like horses, there's fairies, there's creepy ass brass children. Like there's one at the elementary school, one of his statues, and it's brass, and it's a boy and a girl playing, and their eyes haunt me. I'm just saying, and their smiles, they're like,
it's so creepy.
Yeah, it's great. But he makes a lot of really cool stuff.
It sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, come visit.
You know where we have to go next time you come out here is Mr. Ed. He does an elephant thing. Mm-hmm. In fact, this came from there.
Oh, that's so cute.
Isn't it adorable?
I love it.
Like all these people donate elephant stuff to this guy, and so he's got a candy shop, and then he's just got an entire yard full of elephant stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
Yeah, we got to go there.
yeah, I mean
Definitely.
it's so crazy. And he burned down at one point, and I think he rebuilt. I don't know if he ever reopened though. But you can still drive past and see it. And
Nice.
we're also not far, not too far from Raven Rock,
Okay.
which is sort of terrifying on a global nuclear assault scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a
That's
lot of weird stuff in Pennsylvania that nobody really talks about.
so lots of episode fodder then in your
Yeah,
neck of the woods.
yeah. I mean, we've even got podcasts that are like they're popular, but like underground popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
You met Tim,
I did. I met Tim.
and the other podcast is Where Did the Road Go with Soraya. Um, Tim does Strange
Who
Familiars.
yes, and he speaks of Soraya in Strange Familiars, and I actually did Stuff and Things with him and Tara Van Flower, the very first episode I got to be on.
Yes, I am super jealous.
Fancy.
So super jealous.
Well, you know why though? For the first time we were gonna do like a practice thing, and then if it sucked, it was just me, so it wouldn't matter. Like that was the whole idea. Like, come on, let's do a practice. You can do this, because And then a few days later, she was like, "Hey, so do you want to do a practice podcast with me?" I was like, "Of course I do." And so Stuff and Things was born.
Look
Stuff
at
and
you,
Things with
all
Tara Van
super
Flower.
famous.
Girl, please. Girl,
So
please.
I think we've covered
Yeah,
at least scratched the surface of Pennsylvania
yeah.
weirdness.
Started some conversation on the weirdness. We'll have more. I'm gonna look up stuff and ask you questions about it. I had fun interviewing you today.
I don't think it wasn't an interview, it was just conversation. This is what we do.
Yeah, true. We do ask each other a lot of questions a lot of the time.
Like,
Just
what
was
about
my day today.
yeah, because usually I'm asking you about Montauk
Yeah, or other stuff that
or the
yeah.
Pine Barrens or
Oh, I think we do need to go. I don't know if you can hear that's
I hear.
Finn.
Yes.
Finn with the bear paws
Yep.
asking to go have a walk.
The
So
star of the show.
yeah, that's my girl.
Okay, well, we will see you next time
Yes.
when we talk about
Enjoy.
more weird shit.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. So like subscribe, all that.
Punch the like button in the face 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, yeah. But bye.